Hello and welcome to this section on Power Automate. In this video, we'll be looking at our first project, which is going to be a ticketing system. And this will be broken up into 5 different videos. So we have our introduction video, which is this video. And in the introduction video, we'll be going over the system that we're going to be building, as well as the setup of our SharePoint site. In the second video, we'll look at the triggers, how to create triggers to check for new emails. And then third video, we'll also be looking at triggers, but this time we'll be looking at triggers for reply emails. And in the fourth video, we'll be looking at triggers for the status change on our SharePoint list. And then lastly, we'll be looking at a summary where we'll be looking at the entire system that we've built and testing it with some user information. So in this video or in this series, we're going to require a number of different technologies. So we're going to be using SharePoint Online, we'll be using Exchange Online, and we'll be using Power Automate. So to follow along with the video, you need to make sure that you have the relevant subscriptions. You can check out my video on Microsoft 365, where I show you how to set up a free tenant. And this tenant will give you an E5 subscription, which includes Microsoft Power Automate, Microsoft Power Apps, SharePoint Online, and Exchange Online, and many more features. And this will be used for throughout this course. So the subscription is free. It's a 3-month subscription, but after the 3 months, you can renew it and it will automatically renew. So I would really recommend looking at it and giving it a try. So let's scroll down and have a look at what our system will do. So basically what we're going to be building is a ticketing system, and this ticketing system will be used by our users and our admins. So the basic flow of the system will be that our users will generate an email. And once they generate an email, it will go through to the admin inbox. And if this email has a subject of support, you could make this subject any subject you want, but our trigger is going to be looking for the subject of support. Once Power Automate detects this subject with support, it will save that email into our SharePoint list. So it will give it a unique number. It will save the body of the email. It will save the email of the person who sent the email, and it will set the status to new. So that's what Power Automate will do, and it will save it to the SharePoint list. The second trigger that we have is also generated by the users. So once a user replies to a ticket, they will have the subject of support, and they will also have the ticket number. So the ticket number will be generated in the first instance over here with the trigger when a new ticket comes through. So the user will add that ticket number, and Power Automate will check for the sequence that has a support in the subject, as well as the ticket number in the subject. Based on that information, it will update the information in SharePoint with the body of the new email and the unique number of the support ticket, or the unique number of the email. And that will be generated by Power Automate and saved in our SharePoint list. Then from an administrative perspective, we have our admin users. They will be working with the SharePoint list, so they will be viewing the information and assigning tickets to themselves, or assigning tickets to the other people within the IT department. And once they make a change on the status of a ticket, it will generate a trigger from Power Automate, and this will send an email through to the user. So think of it as if a user generates a ticket and the ticket changes from a new status, which is the default status, to either in progress, pending, or closed, then the user will get an email being notified of those changes. They can also view the information on the SharePoint list. The email will generate a link to the SharePoint site where they can view that information for their ticket. So as I mentioned, we're going to be using a number of technologies. We're going to be using SharePoint Online, we're going to be using Exchange Online, and we're going to be using Power Automate. We're also going to be using user accounts, so you need to have some users on your tenant. And to do that, you can head over to your admin.microsoft.com. And if you have a look under users, you'll have active users. And you can see over here, I've created some test users to do my testing with. With the E5 subscription from the developer network, you'll get 25 users. So you can create 25 users on the E5 subscription level. To create a new user, you can click on Add User. I won't go through that in this video because I've also covered that in a previous section on Microsoft 365. So I have a user already set up that I'll be using to monitor this mailbox, and that is my admin user. So if we go over to Outlook, you can see over here, this is the inbox that we'll be monitoring for new emails, and the inbox that we'll be monitoring for reply emails with the unique ID of that ticket that has been generated. Also, if we go through to the admin center, we can also go down to SharePoint Online. So open that in a new tab, and we will be requiring a SharePoint site. So if you click on Sites and you click on Active Sites, you can see I already have some sites created, but we're going to create a new site. So if you click on Create, then you'll see the screen over here. You'll have the option to create a team site or communication site. We'll be creating a team site. So if you click on team site, and you can give the site a name, and I'll give the name to the site of ticketing system. And I will change the site address. You could leave it as ticketing system, but I think it's better practice to give it a numerical value, so I'll give it 01. If you're using a number of sites or you're creating team sites, you could have an overlap in some sites and there could be a conflict. So I'll just give it a numerical value and I'll leave it at that. The group owner is going to be me, so I'm the admin. So if you type admin, you could also type your name in over here or your email address, but I'll just type admin. You can select the language. I'll leave the language on English. And if we look at advanced settings, you can set your privacy. So you can make the site private, but because we're going to be using this with all of our users on our tenant, I'm going to set it to public. So any users on our tenant can access this. You could also change this from the site and just add the users manually, but it's easier to do this. You can change your time zone. So I'll change my time zone to Amsterdam, Berlin, Bern, Rome, and Stockholm because I'm in Germany. And you can also give a site description if you wanted to, but I'll click on next. And here you can add additional site owners. At this point, I'm not really going to do that, so I'll just click on finish. And once that is finished, you can see over here we have site 01. You could also click over here and add permissions, so you could add additional users, but I'm just going to leave it as it is, and I will click on the site over here on the link, and this will take us through to our SharePoint site. So you can see over here you've got your URL .sharepoint.com/site and /01. So the first thing that we want to do, we want to create our list to store our tickets in. So if you click on the cogwheel, and you click on add an app, and over here you have all of the apps available to you that you can add. So I'll say custom list, and I'll give this custom list the name of tickets, and I will say create. Great, so what this has done is created a custom list. If we click on the list, you can see basically it's only got the one column, and that is title. So if we click on the cogwheel again and we go to list settings, the first thing I want to do is click on list name, and I'll click on the navigation option. What this will do will add the list to our quick access, and if I click save, you can see now it's listed over here. Another thing that I need to do is I need to set up versioning. So if you click on versioning, currently there's no versioning enabled, and I'll click on yes, and I'll set the versioning to 50. So when that item has come to 50 versions, it will overwrite it and start from 1 again. You could set this to 100, but I think for our purposes, 50 will be more than sufficient. Click on OK. And if we scroll down, you can see we've got the title, and I'm going to change the title to ticket number. And click on save. And I'm going to add another column. So the next column that I'm going to add is email address. And the type of field that this is going to be a person or group. And if we scroll down, you can see over here we can show fields, and I'm going to set it as work email. You could set this to name or account or first name, last name, but I'll set it to work email and click on OK. And we'll add another column, and this one will be message. And this will be a multi-line of text. And if we scroll down, we can see over here we've got an option to append changes to existing item. So when you select this, basically what it will do, your first item that you add into your text box will be saved as the comment or the message. So this will hold our message information. And every time you make a change, it will save it or append it underneath there so you can see the history of how many times the message has been changed. And for this reason, we need to enable our versioning. So we've already enabled that, and this will work. But we'll show you how that will work when we preview our tickets. Let's click on OK, and we can scroll down and create another column. And this column we will call status. And we will make it a choice field. And we will add the choices that we want to add in here. You can add your own choices, but I will be setting this to new, in progress, pending, closed, cancelled. So when the email comes in or when a new email arrives, Power Automate will set this list item to new. And then when you change it, any of these statuses to a new status, it will also trigger another trigger that will send the user an email. Great, and we will set our default choice to new. And if we click OK, and the next item that we will be adding is a comment. So we'll say create column, and we'll name this comment. And this will also be multi-lines of text. And again, we need to append changes to the existing text. If we click on OK, and let's add our last one, which is assigned to. And this is also going to be a personal group. And if we scroll down, we'll set the field to work email. Again, you could set that to name or surname or login name, but I'll leave it as email address. So this field will be used for the person who's working on the ticket. So when a ticket comes through, it will go into the tickets list, and then one of the support staff, they can assign the ticket to themselves and enter their name. Let's click on OK. Great. If we click on tickets, you can see over here we have an empty list. Let's just create a new entry. So if we click over here and let's just say 001. We can add a message. Status will be set to new. Comment. New ticket. Assigned to. And let's save. So you can see this is what it would look like. I will quickly add some more entries, and I'll see you in a minute. Great, so I've added 5 entries. I've just added some dummy information because all of this information will be managed through Power Automate and through the user emails. But let's click on the first entry, so entry 5, and you can see it's got a ticket number. This ticket number will be generated automatically by Power Automate. The email address will also be entered automatically by Power Automate. You can see it's displaying the username, but if we look in the column in the list, you can see it's actually got the displaying the email address. But either way, both the email address and the name is linked to the AD account of the user. Then we have the message. So you can see this is the original message that was entered by the user. This will be added by Power Automate from the body of the email. And if another email comes through, it will be added, it will be appended. Remember, we added for the message to append to text. So it doesn't overwrite the text, you can see it's appending as a new version. And the same if we add another email, if another email comes through, then it will also append that email. You can see over here we've got the status. Currently this item is set to pending. And then over here we have the comment. So the first comment that we entered was no feedback from the user. So that's why it was set to pending. And then they tried to contact the user again and they added another comment, and over here waiting for feedback. So when we change the status, this information will be sent to the user, and over here we can see it's assigned to me. Let's just close that. You can see these are all of the items that we've added, and what we need to do is add some views so that we can manage how this information is displayed. So let's click on all items and say create a new view, and we will call this my tickets, and it will be a list item, and let's say create. Once we've created it, we can go back to clicking on the drop down and selecting edit current view. So over here, we've got the items that will be displayed for this view, but we don't want to display all of the items. So we want to display the ticket number. We want to display the status. Let's remove these first. So we want to display the status. We want to display the created and the modified date, as well as assigned to. So the order of this will be first we'll have the ticket number, then we'll have the assigned to, then we'll have the status, and then we'll have the modified date. What we also need to do, this only needs to display my tickets, so the tickets of the person who's logged in. So if we scroll down and we select the filter option, you can see over here we have an option to show only items when the following is true, and we will say email address. This is the user's email address. So whatever email addresses the user has added here needs to be equal to me. And let's scroll down and click on OK. And currently it's not displaying any information because I haven't created any or logged any tickets. So it's only going to display the tickets of the users who are logged in. If we click on the drop down and we go to all items, and let's just edit the first item, and let's change the email address to my email address. So we'll remove that email address and we'll put in admin. Click OK. Obviously, the admin is not going to log a ticket, but in this case, it's just for demonstration purposes. We'll click on the X, and you can see over here now my email address is in the name of the person who has logged this. And if we go back to all items and we select my ticket, and let's just refresh. You can see we don't have the column of the email address because we removed it, but this is also assigned to me and it's also logged to me, and I can see it over here. Let's go back to all items, and we're going to be creating a new view, and this view will be for assigned to. So we will be using this column to display all of the information to the person who's logged in, and the ticket is assigned to them. So let's click on create new view, and we'll be giving it a name of assigned to me, and let's say create, and this will create the view. Let's go back to assigned to me, and let's say edit current view, and we only want to display minimal information so that we'll have the ticket number, comment, the email address of the user, and the status. So if we scroll down, we can do the same thing by changing the filter, and we can say show only items when the following is true, and let's say assigned to, and again is equal to me. Let's scroll down and let's say save. And you can see if I select that view, it only shows tickets that are assigned to me. So I currently have 3 tickets assigned to me. If I go back here and I say all items, you can see it will display all of the tickets. And if we have a look over here, we have 1, 2, 3 that are assigned to me. If I was logged in as support@webbysolutions.com, you'd see 2 items assigned to that person. Let's create a new view, and we'll call this view status. and it will show as a list, and click on create. And let's go back to status, and on the drop down we can say edit current view. And we will leave this as the default, but we will scroll down. So we will remove the sign to, and we will remove the comment, and we will remove the email address, and we will remove the message, but we will add created date, and we will add modified date. If we scroll down, you can see over here we have an option for group by, and if we click on the drop down, we will group by status. We will also go down to totals, and we will select status, and we will say count, and we will go down to style, and you can select any of these styles that you prefer. I'll be selecting newsletter, no lines, and let's say OK. So what this does, it creates a view. At the bottom here, you can see how many tickets we have, and you can see how many tickets we have in different categories. So we have one ticket in closed status, two tickets in progress status, and we have one ticket new and one ticket setting to pending. So if you expand that, you can see the ticket number and the status and the date it was created and the date it was modified. If we go back to our drop down over here, we can look at all items, and you can see that information would correspond to what we've entered over there. Let's create one last view, and this view will be for the ticket number. So let's just call it ticket dash number, and click on create. And let's go into ticket number, and we can edit the view, and we will leave the status. We will remove the message, and we will remove the email address, we'll remove the comment, and we'll remove the assigned to. So the only information we'll have is the ticket number and the status. And let's click on OK. And basically that is what the view will look like. Great, so if we go to our home page, we just need to make some minor changes over here. I want to edit this page, and I will remove all the information that's in the page. Let's just delete that. And on the right hand side, we will also delete this, and we will delete this web part. So we've got a blank start page without any web parts. What I want to do on the left hand side is add a web part. So this web part will be for a list. If we scroll down, you can see we've got an option for a list. The list that we're going to be using is tickets. And over here, you can see it's displaying all of our tickets. So our users can either click on over here, or they can display this from the home page. But this is going to be for our users who have logged the ticket. So we don't want them to see all of the tickets. So if I click on the list and I say edit, you can see over here, I've got the list that I'm selecting. I've got the view. I want to change the view to my tickets. So this means it will only display the tickets for the user that's logged in. Folder we leave blank, size we'll leave blank. If you're having a lot of tickets, you can change the size so that it only shows 5 items, 30 items, or whatever you want. For testing purposes, this should be fine. And I also want to remove the command bar at the top here. So I'll click over here, and this will remove the bar at the top. Let's click on apply. And if we save and we republish, you can see now when the user navigates to the home page, they will only see the tickets that they have logged. So it will have the ticket number. It will also have who it's been assigned to. It will have the status. It will have the date that it was created and the date that it was modified. We might also have some users that they can't find their ticket for whatever reason, or they need to search for a different ticket. So let's add another web part. This will also be a list web part. So if we scroll down, click on list, we'll select tickets. If we click on the edit icon, you can see over here we want to change the view for this, and this will be for ticket number. So it will only show the ticket number and the email address. We'll leave folders blank. I also want to remove the taskbar at the top here, or the command bar. So I'll click on show command bar, and that will hide it. And I also want to add some dynamic filtering. So if you set the dynamic filter to on, You can select the list that you want to filter on, and you can set the columns that you want to use to filter. So in this case, we'll use it on ticket number. And if we apply and we click on save and publish, you can see over here we have an option for the users to view only their tickets. And if they're looking for a specific ticket, they can click over here and they can filter by, and they can search for a specific ticket. So for instance, 0005, and if they click apply, it will show the ticket over here, and they can click on the link and it will display the list item of that specific item. Great. So this is going to be our SharePoint site that we're going to be using for viewing our tickets, and we'll be creating the PowerAutomate triggers to work with the SharePoint list and mailbox that we'll be using for our ticketing system. Great. So in the next video, we will be having a look at the triggers, and we will be setting up our first trigger, and that will be to monitor the emails that are coming in. So all emails that are new and have the subject of support. So this is what we will be doing in our next video. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.